What's up, guys? Nate, the old school Otaku here, and it is time for part 5 of the server build project, and effectively the next logical step from where I was previously in part 4 of, the whole entire hard drive fiasco, and I want to talk about hard drives once again, so stay tuned. And welcome back. So, like I said, I want to get into a little bit more to do with hard drives. Now, last time, actually it wasn't exactly last time. I think the way the release schedule wound up going is that I wound up releasing part 4 before part 3. Part 4 was talking about the hard drives. Part 3 was actually dealing with the fans and whatnot. So, at least chronologically in how all of this was actually filmed, technically part 4 is the last one in a way. So we're really on part 5 at this point. And once again, I want to talk about hard drives. Now, as I spoke about last time, I had gotten into some issues with an OEM drive, or at least 2 OEM drives, because I had tried to purchase these 8 terabyte Seagate Exos enterprise grade hard drives, and I wanted to get the ones that came with the Seagate warranty because I wanted that full 5-year warranty, so in case these drives were to fail, I could go and get replacements relatively easily from Seagate rather than trying to hound the seller that I wound up getting from getting those drives from, basically the OEM, because the type of drives I received were OEM drives and not full retail drives. So they didn't actually have that, unfortunately, didn't have the warranty on them. So I went back to Amazon, found the specific drive I was looking for, and then dug down deep into the options for sellers and found a version that was being sold by Amazon. It was way down the list trying to go with alternate sellers and whatnot, and it wound up being about on average, I think total for the whole purchase came out to about $28 extra for both drives, so you're sitting about $14 a piece more per disc in order to get the enterprise version, the full retail version direct from Amazon. But in doing so, I was able to get drives that were properly configured, and this is what they look like. This is how they came, and in a lot of ways, this doesn't look much different than your standard OEM packaging. The one main difference here is on these labels that are sealed on here. In a lot of ways, this looks like it came right from the manufacturer, basically right from Seagate. And since they're enterprise drives, they don't need to have that full retail packaging we're used to seeing that you buy at the stores, because you really don't go into a store and buy enterprise drives. You just buy them in bulk direct from the manufacturer. And so it makes sense that it would come in a more simplistic box like this, not very different than what we get from the OEM. The main difference is on these, it lists the date of manufacture, where it's located. So both of these were manufactured on the 18th of February this year, back in this year in 2020, and they're product of Thailand, each of them, which I believe checks out when it comes to Seagate's manufacturer and whatnot. But they also have the serial number printed on here, and that's very important. So I'm able to go to Seagate's website, check their warranty on here before I even open the drive, before I even open the seal on the disk. So that was really cool. So why don't you come along with me real quick while we double check and make sure these are the full fat drives I'm expecting to see. All right, so webcam Nate jumping in here real quick, but I wanted to give a more closer, in-depth view into the process of checking the drives here. So I've got the Seagate website open. It's just seagate.com. Head up here to the support section, and then to warranty and replacements, and then down here you've got the option to check warranty. So it's got the option to check to enter your serial number. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not a robot because, well, as far as I know, I'm not. And if I am a robot, I believe I would be a technical marvel, the first robot that believes they're real. So hopefully, I suppose that should not be the case. I do bleed and have been cut inside and all these other things, and the doctors have not told me otherwise, so I'm going to assume that I'm real and not a robot. So basically, I know that I am in the United States region. If you're in another region, do select the other region. That makes a little bit more sense that way. So we'll go in here, enter serial number, and I'll start typing in the serial number. So redacted audio. Redacted audio. It's this number. So go in and check warranty. And it's going to go in and it's going to load here for a couple of minutes, well, a couple of seconds really, and then it's going to come back up. It's going to tell me my serial number, the model number, which I can check and verify that that is the correct model number, the correct product, which is X07E, and then verify the serial number is correct. And then the main thing here that makes all the difference is it says warranty valid until July 27th, 2025. So they know when this was purchased. And that's the thing about these retail drives is that they actually do check when they're purchased and all of that stuff. And that's where it goes into the database, and that's how they check on all of that. So I have another drive I want to check. So I'm going to go into, oh, that was product support. I don't want that. I just want to go in and check another warranty. So I hit the wrong button. Whoops. So in here, serial number. Redacted audio. Redacted audio. Check warranty. Wait for a few seconds, and here we go. Right up here, this one also comes back correct. Same model, same product, same model number, because it's basically what I bought. And valid until July 27th, 2025. So that is exactly what I'm looking for. Now, in some regards, I would probably, if I was better able to plan and configure it, or if I was doing something a little bit more on the enterprise side of things, I would probably try to look for 2 drives that are in separate batches. These both were basically manufactured on the same date. I may look for 2 that are on 2 separate dates. That way they're in a different batch. And hopefully that helps weed out some potential batch errors, batch problems. But unfortunately, that's not where it is, and I'm not all that worried. But that is the hope that, if I were to lose one, I don't lose both, and you help hedge your bets a little bit more if you go around that way. So let's go ahead and check this Western Digital drive out, shall we? So, Western Digital. All right. Come up here to Western Digital and go into support. Here it is. Here's the support link. So I want to support of, well, I guess, let's try WD because this has the WD logo on it. So we'll kind of go in here, and here it is, warranty status. Let me move my thing down here. So right here, warranty status. Go ahead and move back up a little bit here. All right, so product, this is, well, not one of those specific ones, so I'm going to say other WD products, serial numbers, and enter in the serial numbers. So, redacted audio. Redacted audio. Once again, I'm not a robot. Hit submit. Okay, so here we go. Found my serial number, found the model number of the device. It's a Easy Store desktop 8 terabyte drive, and the expiration date is April 25th of 2022. So I've got a little under 3 years to go with this drive. So I didn't expect there to be a massive extended warranty on this type of a drive, especially considering this drive was manufactured back 3 years ago now, a little over 3 years ago now. So that's not too bad actually, but it is still in warranty, so that's great. So if that drive were to die between now and April 25th of 2022, I can go reach out to Western Digital and get a replacement ordered. So that's definitely cool. But yeah, that's how you go in and do this. So turn it back over to the better camera, Nate, and continue on with this unboxing, shall we? Checking back in on these, I don't have my trusty knife with me, but I do have these, which will be good enough. So this is very simple packaging, and it's just got a little label here that I'm going to cut right on into. There we go. And then just like the other one, it opens right up, and then we get a package that basically looks like this. It's got information on the Seagate limited warranty right in here, so it's got my warranty information in tons and tons of different languages. I mean, it is in all over the place when it comes to languages, but English is sitting here on page 2. And tells me what Seagate will do, what it takes to get handle the warranty and all that stuff. But you can go to the Seagate website, enter in the serial number, and it gives you the option to start a claim if you so desire. Now, box comes in like this, and just basically pull up on this, and here's the drive sitting in here. And the drive is in the protective, static-free, static protecting bag. And here it is, 8 terabyte Exos 7E8. Which is the model number I wanted. It's got the serial number on here, which should match the serial number printed on the back of this item. Yep, looks the exact same. So here we go, and this is what a Seagate Exos 8 terabyte drive actually looks like physically. So I'm going to go ahead and let's open the other one. And overall, this is a it's utilitarian packaging, but still great packaging, because in the end, it got here in one piece. Now, I haven't thrown the drive in order to see if it was DOA yet, and that is probably one of the next steps I will be going through and discussing. But let's go ahead and open this second drive up here. And just double check and make sure it all looks kosher, as they say. So once again, another warranty card, packaged the exact same way. And here we go. Go ahead and try and get this back in, at least somewhat. So I can throw this a little bit out of the way. And then once again, double check on that serial number. It looks correct. So there we go. I have 2 proper full retail Seagate Exos drives. And like I said, there's not really a difference between OEM and retail hardware, other than the effectively how it's designated in Seagate's system as whether or not it's retail or OEM, and that determines whether or not you get the full retail manufacturer's warranty from it. So that's basically the main thing. And I could have used those other drives that I'd gotten. In fact, it would have sped this process up so much more, because trying to get these replacements took a considerable amount of time, because Amazon decided to ship through the United States Postal Service, and somehow the Postal Service lost it as soon as Amazon dropped off the package to my local post office. Which is something that doesn't normally happen, but there's some interesting things happening with the Postal Service and stuff here in the States right now, which, this isn't the channel or the place to go into any of that, but that has caused some issues. And so, we went so long after it, I was able to finally reach out to Amazon and get a replacement sent to me, which they sent by UPS, showed up on my doorstep a day earlier than they originally wanted, or originally had estimated that they were going to do so. And now I finally have my drives, and just waiting to see if I get the other ones so I can return them if I ever do actually receive those drives. But that's kind of the way it all goes. But thankfully, Amazon was able to handle that specific. So I've got my drives now. Granted, it's 2 weeks later than I was originally expecting these drives to show up, and about 3 weeks after I had gone through this whole entire process. So it's not the greatest, but now I have exactly what I'm looking for, and that's cool. But the other thing I wanted to talk about and really dig down into, and this is probably going to be the meat of this, is I have this 8 terabyte Western Digital Easy Store. This is a brand that's generally sold at Best Buy, and this is a favorite amongst lots of tech tubers and other enthusiasts that want to build these large servers with lots of data in that, because these things regularly go on sale for really cheap prices. I believe I picked this one up and a second one from Best Buy's website. They were on sale for like $120 a piece, which is really good for an 8 terabyte drive. Usually, if you buy the normal this type, just direct like this drive, you're sitting there paying close to $200, $280, something like that. And these drives have a tendency to go for like $250 or something like that. You can actually get a pretty good discount buying this type of drive over the full the normal internal style, and part of that is because they actually put a somewhat cheaper version of the drive in here. These are supposed to be not Seagate, Western Digital red drives, but they're the white label red drives. So when we crack it open, we can actually see that it's a white label, not a full fat red drive. Now there has been some controversy about Western Digital and their red drive lines, and using SMR technology and all this other stuff. And there's plenty of other YouTubers that deal that have gone into full depth in detail regarding that, including Serve the Home. Really good. STH has got really good write-up and configuration on this whole thing, and they've done a whole lot of testing. But the thing about my type of server is that my server is on Unraid, and Unraid is called Unraid because it's not really a RAID. It's what it is it's basically a JBOD, or just a bunch of drives that are together into a pool, but each drive is separate. So there's not data stored in split across a number of drives. So it's different than a RAID array or something like that, because instead every drive just has data stored onto it, and it's split up based off of how you decide to split it up. There's a whole lot of configuration settings you can do in Unraid to do that, in order to kind of decide how you want to split data up. And I have stuff set up so it can be split across all of my drives fairly evenly overall. But the benefit of doing that and basically having 2 parity drives gives me a chance where I could lose up to 2 drives before I run into issues and would actually lose data, as long as I can repair and fix the 2 failed drives, or at least one of the 2 failed drives, before another drive fails. So that's kind of the hope of having double parity like that, is I can do that. And that's the cool thing about Unraid's configuration, is you have double parity drives, or up to 2 parity drives. And I think in newer versions you can actually go more than that, or have multiple pools that could have multiple parity drives. So that's some really cool features that are coming, but the current versions don't have it. And that's the whole point of these Seagate Exos drives, is these are going to be my new parity drives. My current parity drives are actually these. So they're my newest drives that are in my server, but there's some potential issue where these drives may not be the best for that purpose. So that's kind of the whole point, is I want to replace my parity drives with these. And in doing so, I gain back some more extra reliability. And then this one is going to be thrown into thrown into the array to add an extra 8 terabytes. So that's pretty cool. In fact, the way everything's working, yeah, I'm adding 2 of these drives to my parity and replacing those parities, but those parity drives are then going into the array. So I've got 2 8 terabyte drives sitting in there, adding a third. So I'm actually adding 24 terabytes in the end once all this is said and done to this array. So that's pretty cool. But the one thing about these drives is they're in an enclosure. So what you got to do is you got to do what's called shucking the disk. And what that basically means is you're basically pulling the physical disk that's in the case basically out of the case. So drive comes packaged like this, and there's cables and other stuff in here that I don't care about, I don't need. So I'm not even going to bother pulling that out. Go ahead and put those spacers out here, and here is the drive. Well, here is the case around the drive. So they're not really designed to be easily taken apart, but you can take them apart, and that's why I have my trusty iFixit toolkit, courtesy of Ruchan, a beautiful, beautiful, lovely Christmas present that she gave me, and it's got a lot of really cool features in here that'll help me get into this thing. So this is a little picker type thing. Spudger would be the term, and then they have these guitar pick things that I can actually shove in here to help hold it open. Now, I don't necessarily care about breaking this case because all I want is the drive inside. I really don't want to use the external casing of this, so I'm not going to be as gentle as you could be with this, because you could be a lot more gentle with this, but I don't exactly care. So yep, there's going to be some potential flying of things as I dig into here and work on pulling this case apart. Okay, I've got a pretty good start over here, and I'm going to shove one of these in here to try and keep it that way, so hopefully it doesn't come apart on me. It's all about applying the right amount of pressure, the right spot. So you kind of dig through here and you'll get to a spot where you can't pull anymore, and that's where one of the clips are. And then you just gotta push in, and that pulls it out, basically. So I go through, start doing it, and now I've pretty much got this thing pulled apart. Just gotta get a couple more of these to come apart, and we'll be golden, basically. Get into this bottom piece, continue forward a little bit more, and there we go. This is basically open now. Kind of went back in on a spot down here on this side, but I can pull it apart, and it should just basically come right off like this. So like I said, this is a Western Digital white label red. So I can actually go into the serial number, I can double check on that and see what type of drive it is. But for now, I want to basically get this out of here. Now, this is basically kept in here via a couple of clips, essentially. There we go. So there's a little bit of pieces in here, and there's the other part of that. So what we've got is we've got these rubber grommets that are thrown in here with a star bit. And then we also have a board the actual controller that connects in and then does all the configurations, pulls in power here. You've got data here for the USB 3 connection, and that connects into the SATA port and the power ports here. Now this is all kind of stuck in here, basically, and pull up this little plastic piece. And so now I need to unscrew everything and get this set up. Thankfully, the iFixit toolkit comes with everything I need to get this going. So I'm going to start with a normal Phillips head screw because that's what's holding the PCB on here. Let's go ahead and get that off. Pretty simple process, actually. It seems daunting, but if you don't care about ever putting this back together as a full piece, then there's nothing to really worry about. And this is the SATA controller here. It's got a little got this little plastic backing on it to try and keep the two PCBs from touching each other, so there's no crosstalk. But this is cool. I mean, you could keep this, and you could effectively turn any hard drive you have into an external USB drive. You just gotta plug it in to the SATA ports on here. It just plugs in like that, and then now you just got to get the USB 3 cable and the power cable, which comes in the box, and now you've basically turned your drive into an external USB drive. Now I've got what's called a drive toaster back here that allows me to install 2 drives at one time in as an external drive, and I use that instead. So, but if you wanted to recycle some of these parts, you could do something with that. You could, if you really wanted to, if you were careful enough and didn't destroy the packaging more like I did, though I could probably put this back together, and for the most part, it would go back in. I didn't really break off too many of these black connectors that hold it in. So I could, if I wanted to, buy a 14 terabyte drive, stick it in this thing, and it should work. So there is that side of it too. Now let's see here. This does require a star bit, so I gotta just double check and make sure I have the right size. I think that one was too big. This one should be just right. Yep, it is. So now, just to make sure I've got everything right, or I've got everything out of here, is I take off these 4 screws that are in here, and they're just screwed in here, but this is, nice little rubber grommets that helps with the shock absorption of this drive. So it's actually really nice to have something like that on the drive. So there we go. Got that off, and now I have full open drive. Now, one of the things I found is that I know some other tech tubers have actually been utilizing these types of drives, and they've been able to go in and get full fat warranty replacement on the drives from Western Digital. And it didn't matter that they shucked the drive and didn't have the full case. They just went in and said, okay, here's the serial number of the drive, and then they sent them a full replacement drive. They just sent the drive as a replacement. So that's really cool. So that's something else that I can actually check here, is I can go into the Western Digital website and see what type of warranty this thing actually has. But looks like this was manufactured 12th of November 2018. So it's a relatively older drive, but it's, hasn't been in use. So yeah, that is the drives, and that's basically the process of what's called shucking one of these Western Digital external drives. This is a great way to get cheaper storage for your large storage arrays. Basically, watch the deals. Best Buy is known for having the best deals, or the most deals, really. They're not necessarily the best, but they have a tendency to go on sale more frequently at Best Buy than anywhere else. And so it's a great way in order to come across cheaper drives for this type of purpose. So it is trying to put this all back together. Well, not back together, but get it all into one place for easy storage. There we go. So that way, if for some reason I ever actually needed to... sorry, headphone users. For some reason I ever needed to actually get into this, get any of the pieces, it's all here. It's all kept. It's all together. In case I ever needed it. Which I generally don't, but, you know, it's there. Just in case. So, I now have 3 new drives that I can shove into the machine. I think next time we'll probably dig a little deeper into the process of getting these in here, and the process of doing some testing and vetting on the drives. One thing that Unraid allows you to do is do something called pre-clearing a drive, and that basically allows you to double check and make sure the drive is going to be ready to go into service. Double checks, it writes it, it zeroes it, it erases it, and marks it as what's called pre-clear, and that way you know you've got a good drive for throwing into Unraid. It is a extra feature, and we'll go, I think, a little bit more into detail into that in the next video. This one I wanted to just kind of go over the new drives, checking the warranties on those. In fact, I probably will be showing me looking at the warranty of the Western Digital drive here as I'm going through it. So that's one of the next things. And we've got quite a few more videos planned in this series because, you know, I need to get these drives in here and start doing that. I'm also have been doing testing and vetting with the new server anyways, so we'll go into some of the benchmarks and things that have run on the server, testing I've done on there, and then a little bit more into depth into the inner workings of this chassis. So we'll be looking at the IPMI interface, a little bit deeper into the BIOS and all of that, as well as how relatively easy it is to create a USB key to use for Unraid, and then use that for testing purposes. One of the cool things is, even though Unraid is a purchased application, you can test it for free for 30 days, I believe. And then you can actually extend your testing, your trial key, up to 2 or 3 more times for an extra, basically you can test it out for about 90 days, maybe to 120. And sometimes a little bit longer before, you know, you need to pony up for the product, and hopefully by then you've realized you actually liked it and would want to go in and pony up. Now there are free options for this type of stuff. FreeNAS is one such one, which I believe now it's just known as TrueNAS Core or something like that. They've discontinued calling it FreeNAS. It's all just TrueNAS. There's just TrueNAS with enterprise support and TrueNAS Community Edition, which is effectively the same thing, just doesn't come with the support. You just utilize the community for support. So there is that. Now I purchased a full fat key for my main rig. I'm using a trial key on my test rig right now until I'm ready to move all of this over. So that's yet another video, is the process of me moving everything over, getting it installed and set up and all of that. So there's quite a bit more content on this to go around. So please do go ahead and stay tuned for next time for when I go into all of that. And then I still have some more stuff to discuss when it comes to the anime purchasing and the normal type of content I usually have on the channel most of the time as well. So I've not been able to get out and do all of the thrift shopping and other things that I typically do because most of the stores have been relatively closed. It's difficult to get in and shop. Not quite as safe right now in the dealing with human malware and all of that. So this is a cool thing for me to do and hopefully bring you guys along and allow you to have some content coming out on a relatively frequent basis, just about every week or so. Well, if it's your first time tuning into one of these videos, I thank you for staying with me up to this point. I appreciate every single one of you that do watch all the way through my videos. It does help me out with that watch time rating that we have here on YouTube. But if you are interested in seeing more of this type of content, there'll be some recommended videos at the end of this video, as well as I have a playlist of this current server build in the back at the channel. You can check out my other videos. The majority of the content on my channel is more anime related, dealing with pickups and things like that. So if you're interested in checking out some of that, I encourage you to do so. And if you like my content and really do want to help out, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button. Helps me out greatly and puts you front row and center whenever I release something new, especially if you hit that bell icon, because you'll get notifications whenever I do release these videos, which I try to keep a relatively average normal schedule. Generally at the moment I'm trying to release on Sundays around noon, but sometimes it does take a little longer to get a video out and whatnot, so that can help there as well. Encourage you to hit the like button to help me out there. That's other really great ways to help out. If you want to interact with me a little bit more, please do go into the comment section below. I do check every comment, read every comment, and respond as I'm able, so please do hit me up down there. You can also check out my Twitter, my Tumblr, my Facebook. Links to all of my social media is in the description below, as well as a link to the website where you can also see more of this type of content there, write-ups and things. So it's a great other place to go to get more potential content. All of that in the description below. I do actually frequently post teasers and things to my Twitter and Facebook, so great places to go check out for interacting with me throughout the week and whatnot outside of these videos. But thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope to see you all next time. I am Nate, the old school otaku, signing off. What's up, guys? Nate, the old school otaku here, and it is now time for me to start with what is essentially part 5 of the server build project. And what am I talking about? Well, at this point I am going back into more hard drives. Stay tuned.